what I'm going to do for you right now is show you how to set up a program called Microsoft Visual Studio Code. This is a program that we will use to actually program our robots and send those programs to the robots. I need you to pay attention to this right now because you and your partner will be assigned a computer. Let's say, for example, that you're assigned computer number 10. If you set up computer number 10 today, but tomorrow you get on computer number 15, you will have to repeat these steps. As long as you stay on computer number 10, however, this will work just fine. Whenever you sign into a computer for the first time, you will have to do these steps if you're going to use Visual Studio Code on that computer. So just remember that if you do sign on to a computer that's not your assigned computer after we set this up today, you will have to go back and repeat these steps. Thankfully, it's pretty simple. All right, so we're going to start off and go to modules, and under robotics, there is this resource in there, and it is called Set Up a PC and Visual Studio Code for Robotics. We're just going to be following the steps on here together, and then that's going to get us ready to use Visual Studio Code to program and talk to the robots. All right, so step number 1 says we have to log into the assigned STEM Lab PC. So this Visual Studio Code program will not work on your Chromebook, at least to talk with the robots. So it has to be done, if you're going to use a real robot, on one of my Windows PCs in my classroom. You can see right now, if you look at my screen, I'm recording this video on a Windows PC. And the easy way to tell is down here in the bottom left-hand corner, there is the Microsoft Windows Start button. And if I click on that, it brings open a bunch of applications and things like that. So that is what the Start button looks like in Windows. All right. So step number 1 just tells you how you log on to a Windows PC if you've never logged on to a Windows PC in my classroom before. I'll let you go ahead and do that one on your own because I'm already logged in here. Step 2, on the desktop there is a program called Visual Studio Code. Its icon looks like a blue ribbon. Open that app. If the icon is not on your desktop, click the Windows button in the lower left corner of your screen. Scroll through the apps. Visual Studio Code might be under M for Microsoft Visual Studio Code, or it might be under V for Visual Studio Code. All right, so that step is just telling us where I could find that app called Visual Studio Code. So I'm going to minimize Chrome right now. And it said look on the desktop first, and there it is. There's the blue ribbon. It's called Visual Studio Code. So I will double click that. And it will open up, and there we go. This is what Visual Studio Code looks like. All right, so that is open. That step also said I could click down here on the Windows Start button and look through some stuff here. So is it under M? No, on my computer it's not under M, so it's probably down here under V. Yeah, there's a whole folder for it called Visual Studio Code, and then there's the actual app. Okay, I've got that open. Let's go to the next step. All right, step 3. Once Visual Studio Code is open, click on the extensions icon in the left-hand toolbar. It looks like 4 squares. One of the squares is not connected to the others. The extensions bar is now open. Extensions are little apps you can add to Visual Studio Code so it can do extra things. There is a search bar at the top of the extension screen. You'll use that search bar to search and install these extensions. So let me show you what I'm talking about here. So here is Visual Studio Code. The extensions bar or button is right over here. See, those are kind of looks like 4 squares, and one of them is not connected to the others. I'm going to click on that, and you can see it gives me a big list of extensions I could add to Visual Studio Code. And then right up above that big list is that search bar it was talking about. So let's go back to the instructions and see which extensions it wants me to type in. Okay. All right, so Here we go. It says type Microsoft Python into the extension search bar. Click on the first result. It should open up a tab in the main area of Visual Studio Code. At the top of that tab, you should see the Python logo, one blue snake and one yellow snake wrapped around each other. Next to the logo, you should see that this Python extension is from Microsoft with a blue check mark. Once you are sure that you have Microsoft Python on your screen, click the Install button. You can close the tab for Microsoft Python. Okay, so I'll show you what that looks like. So I will go up here to this search bar and I will type in Microsoft Python, just like that. And it looks like, okay, so here's that very top result, and you can see that it says Python, there's the blue check mark, and then the word Microsoft. If I click on that, it will even open a tab over here that shows me more about this. And yep, this is the Python from Microsoft. This is the one that we need to install. So I can either click the blue install button right here in the tab, or I can click it over here in the little extension preview. Either one does the same thing. I'll click install, and then we'll just go over here. Okay. And then it says after I click that, I can close the tab for Python, so I'll go ahead and do that. And now it says, now type ev3dev into the extension bar. You should see two results. The top result, click the top result. Make sure that the tab says ev3dev browser v1.2.0. The other search result will be ev3dev browser v0.9.0, and that is the wrong ev3dev browser. Again, make sure you have ev3dev browser v1.2.0. Once you have it open, click the install button, and you can now close the tab for ev3dev browser. Okay, so I'll go here and I'll kick out Microsoft Python, and I will type in ev3dev browser, and you can see there's my two results, and one's going to be the correct one and one is the wrong one. So I'll click on the top one, and that says right here v1.2.0. This is the one I want to install. So this other one is that 0.9.0. I do not want to install that one. And this program, what it does is it lets Visual Studio Code talk to your robot. The other extension that we added, that Python extension, will help make writing the Python code for the robot so much easier. So I'll go ahead and I will click install right here. And it is installing that extension. Okay, so I think we're done with that. We can close the tab for ev3dev. All right, step 4. Click the Explorer icon in the left-hand toolbar. It looks like two sheets of paper. That is what you want to have open most of the time. Make sure all the Visual Studio Code tabs are closed at the top of the screen in the program toolbar. You will see a File menu. Click on that. Click on Open Folder. This opens a File Explorer window. In the left of the File Explorer window, click on This PC. Now, find the hard drive labeled stem-drive M:, and open that. Open the folder for your class period. Click once on your folder, highlight it, but don't open it. Then click on the Select Folder button. All right, so I'll go ahead and do those things. I'm going to make sure all my tabs are closed over here, and I'm going to click on Explore. Okay, and that Python tab might open up here. Okay, so the instructions said to go to the top of the screen and look for the word File in the toolbar, and there's the word File in the toolbar. I'll click on that. And then it wanted me to go to Open Folder, which is this option right here. I'll click on that. And it said, get into this PC. So over here is my This PC icon. I'll click on This PC. And then it shows me some folders on this PC. I'm going to scroll down and, oh, there we go. There's my stem-drive, and it has the letter M with a colon next to it. So this is actually a hard drive on our server. I'll go ahead and open that. And then the instructions said, all right, get into my period. So let's just say I'm in period 2. So I'll go here to the period 2 folder. I'll open that. And we have a few folders in here. Everybody in your class, I've made a folder in real life for you. Let's see whose folders are in here. Anita Bath, Bob Loblaw, I'll Eat a Booger, and Sean Conaway. All right, so it said find your folder, click on it one time, highlight it, but don't open it. So see, mine is highlighted, but it's not open. And I will click select folder. And if you get this little message here about trusting the author, you are the author. I hope you trust yourself in the programs that you write. You could just do this. You can click this little check mark right here, trust the authors, and make sure that you say, yes, trust the authors. And you are now ready to use Visual Studio Code to write all the little robot programs to your heart's delight. All right. Hey, thanks.